You ever meet someone who's too nice, like suspiciously nice? Always agreeable, always smiling, never ruffling feathers? Yeah, that was me. Until I realized constantly being the nice one isn't kindness. It's quiet desperation wearing a polite smile. We shapeshift for approval. We overanalyze texts, tone check every sentence, walk on eggshells so others never feel uncomfortable. And for what? To be liked? To be safe? Meanwhile, we can't even tell you our actual opinion on pineapple on pizza without sweating. And the irony? People-pleasing doesn't even make people like you more. Think about it. Do you respect someone who agrees with everything you say? Or the one who challenges you, stands firm, speaks truth, even if it stings? The ones we love most are rarely the softest. They're the realest. We're taught to keep peace, to stay small, to avoid conflict at all costs. But guess what? You can't connect deeply when you're constantly hiding. You're not being selfless, you're being invisible, and no one can love a ghost. Let's get one thing straight. People-pleasing isn't about being nice, it's about being scared. Scared of rejection, scared of abandonment, scared that if you show who you really are, people will leave. So you become a chameleon. You learn to read a room faster than you read your own feelings. You say yes when you mean no. You laugh at unfunny jokes. You apologize for things that aren't your fault, not because you're kind, but because your nervous system is in survival mode. Somewhere along the way, being agreeable became your safety net. And guess what? It worked. For a while. People liked you. You got approval. You avoided conflict. But here's the cost. You started disappearing. Every time you abandon your boundaries to make someone else comfortable, you chip away at yourself. And eventually, you wake up exhausted, resentful, and totally disconnected from who the hell you actually are. The worst part? Most people have no idea they're even doing it. They just think, I'm easygoing, or I don't like drama, or I just want everyone to get along. No. What you really want is to be accepted without risking being seen. But there's no real connection without truth, and no truth without discomfort. So if your relationships are all smooth sailing, maybe it's because you've silenced every wave. You ever say no and immediately feel like a horrible person? That's not a coincidence. That's conditioning. From a young age, especially if you grew up around emotionally immature adults, you were taught that your needs are negotiable. But other people's needs? Non-negotiable. If mom needed help, if dad needed peace, if your teacher needed obedience, you gave it, even if it meant suppressing your own instincts. So now, as an adult, setting boundaries feels like betrayal. Saying no feels like you're letting the whole damn world down. And guilt? Oh, guilt shows up like clockwork. Not because you did something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right for yourself, and your inner system doesn't know how to process that. Let me be blunt. Guilt is not always a moral compass. Sometimes it's a broken alarm system that goes off every time you try to grow. You're not selfish for having limits, you're not cold for protecting your peace, and you're not cruel for choosing yourself. But if you've spent your life being the emotional sponge, the fixer, the peacekeeper, you'll feel like a monster the first time you prioritize your own needs. Let it feel wrong. Do it anyway. That's how reprogramming starts. Let's get one thing straight. Emotional unavailability is not just how someone is. It's not some cute, mysterious trait like being a Scorpio or liking black coffee. It's a defense mechanism, a wall. A survival strategy built brick by brick through disappointment, betrayal, or plain old emotional neglect. People don't just decide one day to be closed off. They learn, over time, that opening up means getting hurt, that being vulnerable means being exposed. So instead, they shut the door, lock the windows, and pretend they're just not emotional. Yeah, okay. Behind that chill exterior is someone who's scared shitless of feeling too much, needing too much, or, God forbid, being seen. Because being seen means being judged, or rejected, or abandoned. Here's the kicker. Emotional unavailability isn't always cold or distant. Sometimes it's charming, flirty, even addictive. It lures you in just enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to feel secure. And that confusion, that inconsistency, it keeps you hooked, trying to earn what should have been freely given. Let's cut the crap. If emotional unavailability keeps showing up in your life like a toxic rerun, it's not just bad luck. It's a pattern, a mirror, a loud, flashing signal from your subconscious that something deeper is running the show. You're not just choosing them. You're drawn to them. Why? Because chaos feels familiar. Because inconsistency feels like home. Maybe you grew up having to earn love, walking on eggshells, guessing someone's moods, proving your worth. And now, that's what love feels like to you. Not safe, not steady, but thrilling, unpredictable, anxiety-inducing. So when someone shows up and actually knows how to love you, you get bored, or suspicious, or you sabotage it. Deep down, part of you believes love has to be hard, that if you're not suffering a little, it's not real. So you chase the unavailable ones. You romanticize the hot and cold. You confuse drama for depth. And here's the brutal truth. As long as you keep craving people who can't meet you emotionally, you're avoiding the part of yourself that also doesn't feel ready to be fully seen. Let that sink in. Because the real work isn't just in avoiding emotionally unavailable people, it's in asking why they ever felt so magnetic in the first place. Let's be real, you're not going to heal overnight. There's no magic switch that turns you from trauma magnet to emotional Jedi in one epiphany. But you can start now. And it begins with one uncomfortable decision. Stop chasing potential. That maybe they'll change fantasy? Burn it. People don't transform because you love them enough. They transform when they want to. You're not a rehab center. You're not a project manager for someone's feelings. Now, here's what else needs to happen. Start honoring your own emotional needs. That means learning what safety actually feels like. Not intensity, not longing, not waiting by the phone. Safety feels calm, stable, maybe even boring at first, but it's the kind of boring that lets your nervous system breathe for once. Set boundaries and enforce them like your life depends on it. Because it does. And when someone crosses one, don't explain, don't justify, exit. Unavailable people don't need more chances. They need distance. Do the inner work. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's the only way out. You've got to look at your own wounds, the parts of you that still confuse pain for passion, that still think love has to be earned. That's not self-help fluff. That's self-respect. And finally, let emotionally available love feel awkward. Let it feel too easy or too calm at first. That's not boredom. That's healing. That's your nervous system learning what love actually feels like when it's not a battlefield. You're not hard to love. You're just used to calling inconsistency love and silence safety. Here's the thing. Emotionally unavailable people will always leave you questioning your worth because they're disconnected from their own. And the longer you stay, hoping they'll wake up and see your value, the further you drift from seeing it yourself. But love doesn't feel like waiting. It doesn't feel like walking on eggshells, decoding texts, or shrinking parts of yourself to keep the peace. Real love shows up. It stays. It listens. And it doesn't punish you for needing connection. It thrives on it. So stop chasing people who can't meet you. Stop building homes in people who were never planning to stay. You don't need to earn love by suffering. You just need to stop mistaking pain for proof. Walk away from the emotionally unavailable, not because they're monsters, but because you finally know your worth, and you're not negotiating with it anymore.